good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Tilson Live. It is Tuesday. We are at Tilson. It's 2 o'clock. It is time to launch Tilson Live, as it is each and every week. So welcome. Tell us howdy. Tell us where you're watching from. I'm Eric Allard, one of your gracious hosts, joined as I am each and every week by the great, the wonderful, the marvelous, the person who makes all of these things happen, Vice President of Marketing and Customer Experience, and dare I say, most of the employment experience at Tilson Homes, Dawn Dantzler. Hello, Dawn.
Hey, Eric. How's it going?
I'm great. I like to talk until I can tell you get just on the edge of uncomfortable and go just about one more sentence.
Just to the point where you can't talk, and then I'm going to ask you a question. That's how we roll around here.
Precisely. So I will introduce our special guest here in a minute, even though he has a name tag. He's wearing a badge. But tell us where you're watching from. Tell us where you're building. Put those comments into the comment section. We are here to answer any and all of your questions. We are joined by a very special guest this week because he's stuck with me for about 3 days. Our very own Senior Vice President of Construction, Mr. Justin Ordeneaux. Welcome, Justin.
Thank you, Eric. I certainly appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. So those of you may have even seen us poking around the state a little bit. Justin and I are riding around. We're hitting some jobs this week, seeing some of you guys out there in the field, seeing contractors, seeing some of our product on the ground, always looking for ways, what's going well, what we could do better. So that's what we are doing. And so he is stuck with me in my truck for 3 days. So y'all pray for Justin. He needs your thoughts and prayers. But anyway, so Dawn, tell us what we're going to be talking about today. What are we doing here?
So today we're going to be talking about anything that you folks want to talk about. We prefer we stay in the built on your lot custom home realm, but we have opened it up in the past. Our advice gets a lot less reliable the further away from building on your land that you get. Our opinions get a little iffy after that. The only thing off limits, we don't talk politics, but other than that, we can talk about whatever you want.
It can be trusted. But do drop into the comments any of your questions about the built on your lot process. Guys, we know there's a lot of questions out there. Built on your lot is very, very different. But first of all, also tell us where you are building. Tell us where you're watching from. Tell us what you're building, what part of the process that you're in. We want to hear from you guys. Are you thinking about doing this? Are you already in the process? Are you in the sales and design part of the process? Are you under construction? Have you already built with us and you've got some advice for other folks you want to share? And I know why you got to put your comments in there. Tell us where you are. I do want to give Justin an opportunity because it's been a while since you've been on, Justin. So,
it has. It's been a minute. I actually had it on my list to invite him on, and then here he is.
Sorry.
It's like you read my mind.
One way to get me here is keep me in a truck for 3 days. So.
That's right.
Now I know
it's
the
called
secret.
kidnapping in some places, but not when you're with Eric. It's a joyride. So tell us a little bit of your journey through what got you into home building, where you're from, what you've been doing at Tilson, and go.
Okay.
Don't get carried away.
I grew up in Fort Bend County. So Meadville is where I resided for about 20 years and recently moved out to Colorado County. So I'm excited about that opportunity there. Got into construction when I was in high school, doing electrical, and then went on to college and did framing in college. And then from there, I saw a local builder in Houston that was hiring. So they gave me an opportunity. And a few years later, Tilson gave me another opportunity here, and since then, almost 16 years later, kind of worked closely with a lot of people in the construction industry, and had a great opportunity to become Senior Vice President of Construction here. So it's been a great run.
Right, y'all. So Justin is wholly and completely in charge of anything construction and customer care related in the entire state of Texas. It's not all he does, but that is a lot of his job. Is every single house that's under construction, and wrangling those trades and vendors and suppliers and contractors, and he, at least that's the excuse why he doesn't have hair. I don't have one, but anyway, here we are to answer all of y'all's questions. Dawn, is anyone joining us so far? Or are we just all three talking to ourselves?
Hey, it's fine if we're talking to ourselves. Linda
Legends.
is joining us from YouTube. She's watching from Arlington, building a Whitney D in May Pearl. She's asking what the name is of the song that plays at the beginning of the live. It's so peaceful. I am honestly not sure. I can look it up for you. It is the one that I picked out of Canva that I thought was pretty. So if you're familiar with Canva, it's our graphic design program that we use that's online. And I will look up for you what the name of the song is and let you know.
I had a spectacular story that was like, it was one that Justin wrote while he was out on the road. But
I'm sorry, tell your.
No, it's okay. It doesn't matter anymore. It's not true.
I keep it real. I'm too honest already. Okay.
I want them to think that Justin's like a savant of sorts. Like he's just.
It won't take long to see through that, I'm afraid. I'm not a songwriter.
We have Lance joining us on Facebook. He wants to build a San Felipe. So
oh, cool.
We have a friend from YouTube joining us from Florida. So whereabouts in Florida and where are you planning to move to?
Right. And hope you're not in Tampa. Run.
Yeah, I hope so. We got Glenn Howdy from Pasadena building the Livingston in the Lake Palestine area. Almost done. Awesome.
Very cool.
And then Lance is asking what options are available for lots with a slope. And he's looking to build in Huntsville.
I think Justin ought to go far away, man. What do we do?
There's several options, specifically in Huntsville. So it's best to let us come out and take an evaluation of that through our site evaluators. But we could be looking at possibly a pad. So we might decide that it'd be advisable to go with a pad. So there's a couple of options even within the pad where it might be compacted or uncompacted. And then the other option that we might explore would be tall forms. So we would have concrete walls that would be built up on the sides of the foundation to achieve whatever elevation we're targeting, to make sure that we have proper drainage for out of a floodplain, whatever that might be. But there's several options that we might have to explore. But giving us an opportunity to come look at it first would be advisable at this point before you do anything.
Okay. Awesome. All right. We've got Chris, who is in Fort Worth, building a Wimberley in the hills above Possum Kingdom. Should be released to construction in November. Power is in. Yay. That is a major step. And water should arrive any day. That's awesome. Beautiful. We've got Donna from YouTube hoping to build a rock wall in Bell County once the crazy rates start to subside. Living in Austin now.
Okay.
Okay.
We've got Janet, happy Tuesday, joining from Plano. Our Live Oak D by the pond in Grayson County is looking good. Framing is complete. Windows and doors are in, and AC is almost done. Awesome. So you've passed another major barrier, and that we got your flex duct in. Bless you.
Thank you.
We got Sandy beginning construction in New Braunfels in October on a San Jacinto. Awesome. Congratulations. We have Will checking in from Klondike. Howdy, Will.
What's up, Will?
We've got Martina, hello, building in Hidalgo in Hamilton County. We are prepped for paint and stone is installed. Hopefully cabinets will be installed this week. Shout out to Dustin for keeping us updated. Awesome. Well, you just told his boss's boss, so good. His boss's boss's boss. Yeah.
Right.
So
that too.
5 stars to Dustin. We've got Amber. Hey guys, it was nice to see y'all today. For your family here, building an Angelina C in Hamilton County.
Saw her just a bit ago, actually, not that far. It was good to see you, Amber. Thanks for being here. Katie was running around there.
Katie the dog was giving us a tour.
Nice.
I think she liked me better than Justin, but she's a good judge of character, Katie. Sweet dog.
This is why you get me on here.
Well, you can't have you on if we're not allowed to pick on you. That's like the rules of the show.
That's the opportunity to take advantage of me. Go ahead.
We've got Elizabeth. Hi, we're in the process of building the Polidoro in Burnett County, currently towards the end of the framing process, and we're so happy with Tilson this far. Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad to hear that.
Thank you.
We've got Andy. We're building a custom rock wall in Grayson County in Sadler. Keith Thorndike at your McKinney office is awesome. Awesome. Well, cool. Great. You've got his boss's boss here too. So. Everybody's scoring the points today.
The customers.
We got Kelly. Supposed to be breaking ground yesterday in Bridgeport. Who do we reach out to if site manager is not replying?
Well, I'll tell you what, we can certainly make that happen.
You got the right
Again,
guy.
You've got his boss's boss. So.
Tell you what, if we'll take a note, I'll be in touch as soon as this is over, and we'll make sure that we get those.
You got your job down, Ms. Noel.
Yep, I've got you down. We've got Andy. We finished our site evaluation and have our items in progress. Drive, electric, water, septic, and design. Now we wait.
Wow. Okay. Squared away.
All
Thank you
right.
for that.
Yes.
Yeah. We've got Julie. Good afternoon. We have lots of activity at our Whitney D in Montauk County. HVAC is installed and things are moving faster than I expected. We go look every weekend and it's fun to see what they get done during the week. Awesome.
Beautiful.
Very cool. We've got Tara building a 4-2 Laporte in Kaufman, waiting on countertops and tile.
Okay.
And Andy wants to talk more about Keith. I can't speak highly enough about Keith Thorndike, sales at McKinney, and Peyton Brock's site eval. So helpful and polite. Awesome.
Beautiful. Thanks for the feedback, Andy. I appreciate that. We will be sure they hear it.
And we've got Angela Jefferson. Hi, guys. We're building a custom cypress in Leon County and meet with the design consultant on 10/7.
Oh, the fun
That'll be
begins.
fun.
The
Make
fun
sure you check
begins.
out all of our, if you want some guidance, check out all of our style guides as you're picking out those colors. It'll save you some time.
Yeah, in fact,
that
even maybe we can have you walk through here a little bit or on the website they can find those. So, guys, the whole point of this particular show is for y'all to ask us anything. So we know there's some standard questions out there. Like how do we do for sloped lots? What do we do about? Does the land have to be paid off? What kind of equity do you need to have? What do we do about interest rates? All those questions that are swirling around, ask us. If they have to do with site preparation, design, financing, construction, especially because we have a very special guest, Captive, here today. Everything construction. He's been teaching me a lot of stuff these last 2 days. I ask a lot of questions. I give a lot of weird looks, which gives him anxiety. So it's been an interesting couple of days together. But ask all these questions. So that is what we are here to do. And anyway, yeah.
All right.
If we got questions, fire them up. Otherwise, y'all drop them in the comments. We'll answer every single one of them.
All right. We've got Yolanda, who we meet Garrett next week to start the foundation process to build a Preston B in Lowling, Texas, Gonzales
cool.
County. And she is curious what the process is before the foundation is poured. Justin, what happens?
Well, that can vary. Where were we at? Sorry, New Braunfels?
We're in Lowling.
Gonzales County. Okay. Lowling.
So most likely we're going to get probably our form set first. So you will see a porta can, just some other things that are going to arrive to the job site. But most likely you're going to see the foundation form set first. And again, each lot can require different things. So I hate to speak so generically at times, but we'll get our form set. At that point, builders will go out there, they'll verify those forms with right orientation, right elevation, and then we measure, make sure it's all square and all those good things. And we'll put foundation sand in, and plumber comes in and he's going to set up the plumbing grounds to go in, or rough, as some of them like to call it. And then we move on with getting the actual beams dug and all the skeleton, if you will, the postage cables, the rebar, the plastic, and then we'll pour concrete and we'll have a slab at that point. So it's pretty right away once the builder gets the file as to what's going to happen as far as the foundation goes.
All right, great. We've got Martina asking, she wants my cup. Can I get a Tilson tumbler? And do you have a merch line? We do not have a merchandise line. We have thought about it a couple times, and then we start researching, putting together the e-commerce site. We create a merch store and remember why we build homes and why we like that better. So I don't have one right now. I will look and see if we have any extra Yetis hanging out for you and see if I can find you one and get it over to you. But I'm honestly not sure how many we have left at this point.
You just opened Pandora's box.
I did. I'm going to regret that. Oh, well.
Look, I have a gently used one. I will run it through the dishwasher.
I can send you this one. Do you want this one?
I don't want your stanky tumbler you've already used.
I think I saw a few hanging out in the Austin office when I was there last week. So if we have them, I'll send them out. We've got Kelly saying, will we get any sort of schedule or timeline of construction? We've been released to construction as of yesterday.
So what the builder is doing, so we received that file with all the information that we're going to need to construct your home. And he's immediately calling, and he's probably already been prepping these our contractors, for the fact that they have work coming. And so we get on a schedule at that point. What we need from them is confirmation. And so when your builder, he's going to be communicating with you through the process. So there's there's the overall process, and then you're asking about the timelines associated with it. Well, things do move. So part of the builder's responsibility is to keep you informed as we see movement upwards or backwards, depending on what their availability, weather can impact that. They should be in touch with you on a regular basis to kind of keep you posted as to when crews are going to be arriving and when they should be complete. We're starting to see this, and this is going to be a question I think continues to come up is, are things starting to move a little bit? And we do see an improvement in supply chain. We have seen an improvement in our contractors' ability to navigate getting to jobs for the most part. I would tell you, just as Amber was on earlier, as we get further out, those crews are still, it's a coordinated effort to get them out there. So it is taking a little bit. Same with timelines that we were seeing 6 and 8 months ago, but we are starting to see across the state a lot of momentum in getting things expedited, as we've seen several people comment so far through the live here.
Awesome. Yeah, and Kelly, there may very well, he just, like I said, just got released construction yesterday on the 26th. He very well may be waiting to hear back from 1 or 2 contractors. So he has a real, because the thing that's going to happen is he's going to call you and your first question is going to be, when are we going to get started? And he wants to have an answer to that question. But rest assured that Colton's going to give you a holler and get you lined out.
Okay, awesome. Sandy is asking, does Tilson put on gutters? If not, do we get that arranged? How do we get that arranged?
So we typically do not. We have. There are areas where we do, and we offer it, or we can get pricing for it, but it's not everywhere. And if not, Justin, do you have a preferred time you want them to put those on there, and then talk a little bit about some of the things to keep in mind if they're going to put gutters on the home? When would you like to see that as a building superintendent, so we don't damage stuff? What would your preference be?
We can offer gutters if somebody so chooses, regardless of when they come in. It would be at the very end of construction. Because you still have a lot of activities that are going on. As we move through the construction of the home, we got to get the masonry clean potentially. We're going to do paint touch-ups. You might be adding sidewalks or something like that. So you don't want something that's going to intervene. So ideally, you're talking to that contractor if you're going to add gutters after the fact, somewhere around the time that we're completed with framing or moving into drywall, to kind of get an idea as to what kind of gutters you want, what colors are going to match up the best, where those downspouts are going to come, where they're going to feed through to get past the sidewalk or some other feature that you may have on the lot. But I would recommend, there's a lot of good local guys that do seamless gutters, but I would recommend that it not be installed until the very end of construction. Even post-closing is fine. But somewhere in that time frame. We don't want them in too soon because it's going to impede progress, or we're going to be having contractor interference at the end. Nobody wants to have any delays.
Cool.
And then the other thing that's going to happen to your gutters that I always like to point out, when they install them, unless you pre-negotiate them to tunnel and do like a pop-up drain, they are going to put these really ugly black corrugated pipes on the end of your downspout, and it's going to go out 10 feet. Do not take them off. You are going to destroy the drainage around your home. Like, you need to get that water away. Gutters are great for, bringing all the water to one location, which means they bring the water to all one location. So we need to move it away from the house. So if you're going to take off the ugly black things, do the work and dig the tunnel and do the pop-ups 10 feet away from your house.
Gold star for Dawn. How about that, Justin?
I'm looking out for your customer care department, Justin. I'm learning things.
Honestly, learned a thing too. I don't even hear.
We've got Janet agreeing about Keith and Peyton. The McKinney team has been great to work with. Awesome.
For sure.
We got Maylin. I'm interested in meeting with your Waxahachie office next week. My first time hearing about Tilson Homes. Who's the best person to work with in getting started at your Waxahachie location? All right, any of my new home specialists that are watching, get with her. Maylin, if you want to just call the phone number on our website, press 1 to get to a new home specialist, and they can answer any of your beginning questions that you have about Tilson and the overall process, and they will get you scheduled for that meeting. But welcome. Thank you for tuning in.
And Maylin, Shelly, Tynan, and Nick are all highly capable, highly specialized in Waxahachie. So just give a holler over there. Anybody you can get an appointment set up with, they're all 3 very accomplished and more than capable to make that happen.
Yes. All right. We've got Amanda. Hi there, y'all. What steps are taken to make sure the foundation is leveled? We had stake out, then a restake, but no official measurements were taken the second time. Does that matter or play a part in it? What say you, Justin?
Well,
I only know about gutters.
So the foundation, so I think what you're asking is, what do we, as far as leveling that foundation, this kind of goes back into the other question about how do we establish a slab that's out of level. So it could be when we're out there that we determine that a pad, so we actually bring dirt in and it will get us to a degree within level, right? So it's not going to be perfectly flat, but the actual foundation itself is made level through the form boards. And so what we'll do is when we're setting those forms, you'll come in and you'll see stakes and what we call batter boards on what we call the envelope. So we make it into a square or rectangle, and then we will set our forms off that. But those boards, along with getting that foundation square, we also set those string lines at a certain height generally, so that way we know what elevation and it's consistent. So a transit will guide us as to how to make sure that that foundation is level across the part. So I hope that it's not the dirt so much I don't think you're asking about, but as much as the foundation. But it will not follow the contour of the land. I promise you, it's gonna be flat.
Yes.
It'll be checked by multiple people.
Correct.
Yes. The engineers will be there as well to check it all. We've got lots of people checking that out for you. All right. So we've got Kayla asking, how does the financing work? Eric, how's it work?
All right. So it's really pretty simple. If you can get qualified for a permanent for a mortgage, that's how it works. There is no construction loan or interim financing or closing up front and then closing again at the end. That's not how we do it. We actually just get you hooked up with a lender, with a mortgage broker, mortgage banker, and they do a fully underwritten loan commitment, just exactly as if the house were already built in a subdivision or a resale and you were going in to buy that one. So they're going to go ahead and order an appraisal. They're going to get all the underwriting stuff done with you guys. So your 401ks, your retirement, pay stubs, last 2 years of W-2s, all that kind of good stuff is going to go into it. Fully underwritten. And then they're going to come back with a commitment letter or a takeout letter to us. And then once we receive that letter that says you're good to go for financing, we build the house from zero to completely finished. And there are no payments during construction. There's no interest accruing. You don't close on the loan until the house is done. So the financing is very, very easy, and any of our sales consultants can walk you through exactly how that works, how the equity is. They can have a conversation about debt to income ratios with you, but it's a very, very attractive alternative because most other cases, not that there's anything wrong with them, but you would have to get a construction loan of some sort to finance the home. And then once the house is done, you can either do a one-time close construction loan, is how some of them do it, where you close up front again on all of that interest. And that's expensive, but it is an option. Or you get a construction loan and then you build from that, paying interest as you go, and then you close on the permanent at the end. So we avoid all of that, save our customers literally tens of thousands of dollars, and just get the permanent loan, and you don't close on it till the house is done.
All right, perfect. So Tara is sharing, my site manager is super nice and is helpful. I do have issues with him replying to texts, but my biggest issue is our tile. We've waited almost 8 weeks with no word on when the tile will be installed. This is delaying things since the countertops should be in by next week. It's very frustrating to see our build sitting for weeks. I know everyone is busy, but at this point I am frustrated.
Understandable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Understandable. Justin, what do we do in a situation like that? I mean, obviously, text messages.
I would think even during this duration, if we're 8 weeks, we're probably fighting to get this tile in. So most of the tile that we have is made here in the U.S. So we've been very fortunate with Dow Tile to have pretty minimal backorders, but there has been some discontinuations, and we're fighting and clawing. We give plenty of notice on those components so that we can order them in and get them, and they're supposed to be held. Sometimes at the warehouse, they may have allocated that to somebody or accidentally filled it. It could have been broken in transit. I mean, we see some of those things. I know it seems like excuses, but these are still realities that we go through. I think in this particular case, I've made a note here. I'm going to follow up to find out what the situation is with our tile. We can get some kind of answer as to what's delaying it. But the countertops just going in, the countertops are a little bit quicker than that. So we must have something there that's holding us up on the tile.
Okay.
Appreciate that. Thanks for letting us know, Tara, as well.
Thanks for letting us know. All right. We have Andy. Could getting all of our items complete, water, electric drive, septic design at a fairly quick pace help us get an earlier build slot? We were quoted construction to begin in April of 2023.
So it really doesn't, Andy. What's driving those slots more than your utilities is availability of trades and contractors in a specific area. So if it's in April next year, you're obviously in a very, very popular area. We don't have very many spots that are slotted out that far, except there are like 2 or 3 counties that are just exploding with growth, where the contractor base is just pushed way out. And I think, Grayson, probably one of those where there's just a lot going on. People are kind of running north away from the Metroplex, away from Collin County even. And Grayson County is kind of the next affordable. Actually, not on that particular case, it is the last affordable part of Texas left, because you're any further north and you're across the Red River into Oklahoma. So
and nobody wants that.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. So anyway, that's I did now not discourage you from doing those things, get them done, because what it will help with is on Justin's end with the construction. You get those utilities in like that, and I can't tell you. I mean, we roll up on houses, and if the water is hooked up, I've never seen a kid so excited, apart from the night before Christmas, than when Justin Ordeneaux rolls up on a site and there's power there, there's water hooked up, there's propane. I mean, he's like, "Ooh, propane's hooked up." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, that's great."
Yeah, he says you're going to be excited on his site. He's got everything but electric. So
yeah, it makes the construction of the home so much smoother, and the trades. It's a better experience for them, right, Justin? I mean, if everything's there, and
it certainly makes it more fluid. It allows us to continue on with construction. You end up at the point with in the absence of utilities, you just can't advance any further. So there's a lot of inspections and tests and things that have to be performed in order to complete the home. And water, even throughout construction, I mean, ideally you have water almost from the minute you enter the job site, because you've got masons, tile, sheetrock, the plumber, they need water. So they're very important ingredients to getting through the job site, through the process of building the home.
Okay.
Thanks, Andy.
We've got Janet asking, is it possible to substitute a dishwasher we purchased for the one we selected at design time? Does that cause a mess? Justin, would that cause a mess?
Man, Eric, I like all the softball questions that you take. I would tell you that at this point, if we've ordered those appliances, what we try and do, to the best of our ability, and we've done this for years, is we send updates to these companies, kind of letting them know when we're starting your home, so they can start forecasting, because a lot of stuff's coming in on containers, and we're trying to make sure that those supplies are there. So it's already most likely bought and paid for in a lot of cases, because we've committed that the appliance would be there. Probably the best bet today would be us to go ahead and put in the appliances that we have, so we can navigate the inspections, pull that thing out at the end, and that's possibly something you could sell after the fact. I would discourage you from trying to remove anything and substitute it at this point once we get into construction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jen, it is kind of a bit of an all or nothing situation, even on the front end. That's not even on the sales side and the design side. It's not something that we typically do. It's, the way we purchase there is some economies of scale there, and we make some commitments to the appliance companies that, we're not going to send them out there to install 1 or 2 appliances. Like it's a package, and that helps us leverage pretty competitive pricing to do that. And so we kind of need to stick to what we're doing there on that.
All right. We have a question from YouTube. Our furnace has been in for a few months and still some time to go. When does warranty start on that type of equipment?
When we close. So you will fill out a registration. So the builder, when he's doing his intro walk with you, you're going to have it's going to be a list that comes through via DocuSign. And we'll actually take pictures of the things that have serial numbers so that you have them on the walk list. And then you in turn register those appliances for those warranties. But the warranty will begin from the date of installation, or from the date of closing.
Okay, awesome. Susan is asking, I read that the concrete slab should stay wet for days after it is poured. Will that be done, or can the homeowner do it? I love Tilson Tuesdays. Oh, thank you, Susan.
It's ideal. So what's happening and what you're trying to avoid is what we call shrinkage cracks. This is probably the most elementary way to explain this, but every engineer I've ever met just loves explaining it this way. It's kind of like baking a cake. And that you put the batter, and then you put it in the pan. And I don't bake, but I did watch Grandma. And so when they put it in the oven, you'll notice that the surface comes out cracked before the icing is put on there. And so what it's doing is it's actually curing or heating up on the top quicker than it does in the center. Well, the same premise applies to a foundation. And so the beams and all the concrete below the surface, it's curing, but it's not at the same rate because it's not exposed to the sun, it's not exposed to the wind. So by applying water or moisture on top of that foundation, it's keeping that concrete from curing so rapidly, which is creating those cracks on the surface. So if we have the availability to do that, if you have water on site, let it pour it that morning. And the next morning, wake up, put a sprinkler on it. It can get wet from now to the end of time. It's not going to hurt that foundation. Now, I would give it probably 24 hours just to be a little safe here. You can jump on a little bit sooner because they're standing on it, those kind of things. But we don't want to deteriorate the finish on the top side either. So the next morning, go at it with water hoses or sprinkler system. You don't have to do it all day or all night, but if you want to every other day or at night, if you want to water it during the day, that's fine. And it will assist with reducing the shrinkage cracks on the surface.
Yeah, and we are in the last week of September here. It's still hitting 90 during the day. So the need to do this is going to start to wane a little bit for the next 4 to 6 months. And I say the need, that's a strong word. Structurally,
it's all cosmetics. We're talking cosmetics here.
Shrinkage cracks. Okay, we're talking cosmetic. And really, if you wanted to focus on an area, maybe your porch is in your garage. If you were really, really concerned about it, if you didn't have a sprinkler that's going to hit 4,000 square feet, focus on the areas you're going to see. Right, if you're putting down tile or anything but stained concrete, it's not going to matter. And at the end of the day, Justin, there are two types of concrete, right? There's concrete that has cracked and concrete that's going to crack.
That's going to crack, yeah.
But it will minimize that to some degree.
Okay. We got Vidana letting us know that her builder, Eric, is awesome.
I think his name's Eli, but we're going to go. Maybe there's another one. We have several.
We're just going to call everybody Eric now. It's going to make my life easier.
Much simpler.
I refuse.
We've got Sharon from Frisco building Angelina in Gillespie County starting in January, I think. Keith Thorndike was so easy to work with on this project, so patient with all my questions. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. We got Will. The Tilson tumbler looks nice. Be awesome to have one. Sit outside early in the morning to drink coffee and watch the livestock in nature. Okay, I hear you, Will.
Hard close.
I'm on it. I'm on it. The assumptive close. Got it.
The emotional. Yeah. It's like no big deal. I just watch every single week and share pictures of my farm
every single week. And I told you can come out to my farm and film everything, Don. I think I should get a cup. Okay.
But my coffee's cold, and if only I had a tumbler.
If only it were 110 degrees outside and your coffee didn't get cold. All right, I got you, Will. All right, Donna, do you think Tilson will start offering any incentives since the market is slowing down with the unprecedented quick rise in rates?
That is a great
I'm going to say no.
Yeah. So short answer is no. But I'd like to give you some why. So where you will typically start seeing incentives with builders are on inventory homes. In fact, that's almost exclusively always the case. So in other words, a house is built. They are paying taxes on it. They are insuring it. They've already got the money out there for the house itself, which is hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? They may very well have a loan on it, or they owe investors something on it. So that's where you will see incentives is for homes that are completed, that are sitting, traditionally in subdivisions. And what you will notice is very different from the last recession we went through from 2007 to 2010. You're not going to see a lot of inventory homes because builders are not caught up. You'll read articles that'll tell you that there are more homes under construction than there have ever been. And that's true. But as Justin will tell you, and some of you are noticing, that is a skewed number because houses are taking longer to build than they ever have.
Oh, okay.
So that the more houses under construction does not necessarily mean there's going to be this glut of inventory that just magically hits the market in 3, 6, 10, or 12 months. Most of those houses, 100% of ours, have contracts on them.
Yeah, they already have an owner.
Most of the ones that you're seeing that the production builders are doing also have contracts on them. So you're not going to see incentives anywhere except for production builders traditionally that have that have existing inventory sitting. You're going to see very little of that around Texas. You might see some in Austin just because there are so many there. But anywhere else in Texas, I don't know of any production subdivisions that were just have all these houses sitting vacant, ready to sell. That just, it wasn't a thing. Nobody could get anything done. And it's still a struggle to get stuff done. The other thing I'll tell you, if you do see custom builders, on your land builders offering incentives right now, if they don't have a backlog of customers going into this, you need to have a whole lot of other questions of why were you the only person not building anything in the last 12 to 14 months? So that's, y'all can add anything to that, but that's my explanation of, I doubt it.
Yeah, well, and
it's
I'm
not costing us any less today to build a house than it was 3 months ago, right, Justin?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, our business model is, hey, we try and forecast to a degree what costs are going to be, but that's rather difficult. It has been for the last 2 years. I mean, so we're never really looking to gouge. We're just looking for, hey, we want to offer a fair price for what the costs are associated, depending on where you're building at in the state of Texas. And our costs do fluctuate as we move around the state, depending on the market, the terrain. So I don't think we're in a position that the incentive is this is truly what we believe this is going to cost to build, and we offer a price on, and we commit that to you up front with the contract. Just as all of our customers over the last 18 months, I mean, I can assure you my costs have gone up. It used to be just about once first quarter, and you generally see phones ringing with increases, but it's been daily, 365 days a year. Somebody coming in with, it's what's unfortunate about email, they can even grab you on Saturdays and Sundays with notification of increases. So I don't believe there will be an incentive, so to speak.
Yeah, I would even say, even though the market is slowing down, it's still, that just means it's not insane. Like, you actually get a couple minutes to think about whether you want to buy that house. If you're dealing with the resale market, it's still not a balanced market at all. There's way more demand than there is supply. Even if you're going to sell your house, you're still in a seller's market right now.
It's just supply is I think it's in Texas is hovering around 2.8 months of supply. They consider a healthy market 5 months. That's a balance. Yeah. It's neither a buyer's market nor a seller's market. Anything less than 5 months, seller's market. Anything over 5 months, buyer's market. So we're still not even halfway, right at halfway to a buyer's market. We're not even there yet. You're
just, the difference is you're only getting like 3 offers over list now instead of 24.
Right, or at list.
Yeah. All right. We have the Larson family building a Wimberley in Boulevarde. Hopefully, after a long wait, we will get a construction date for October and November. Question: when do we talk flatwork design? We have an allowance.
Justin, what do you like to do that?
So it'd be ideal that if you had a sketch, just kind of some kind of idea, but once foundation and the frame are up, I generally had more success because I don't know what it is, but as things get vertical, it just kind of changes, how you want that to be. And, if you're incorporating a driveway, where do you end it? Do you end it exactly where the garage door is? Do you extend it? So there's something about seeing it on the job site and kind of laying that out, even if it's just scratching in the dirt to kind of get some ideas. I know I've spent time with customers that have gotten into their trucks and turn into the garage, and kind of see what it's like to back out. But if you have an allowance to start with, you kind of know how many square feet we're going to be putting into it, how high that garage might be above the terrain that we're working with. So all of that can impact that cost. But generally, once the frame is up, that's a good time to start talking about it. You probably won't see it coming in and being poured until later on, but that gives you some breathing room to kind of think through that decision, because once it's set up, it can be removed, but it's not cheap, so we want to get it right the first time.
And Justin, would the pre-construction meeting be a place to at least have a conversation about it?
I think you got to have a basic idea. The more of your thoughts, and not just walking out there on a whim and making a decision, but I think locking it down. Ideally, you really solidify what that plan is somewhere about the time of the frame, moving into drywall somewhere in there.
Okay, great. We have Teresa asking, we are waiting to build a driftwood in Bandera. How do we find out where we are on the schedule? We started the process in January.
Well, Teresa, we can look and see if we're on the slot board. Ordinarily your sales consultant will be able to tell you exactly where you are in the process. So reach out to your sales consultant or the regional manager of the sales office that you're working with. I know you can call Jerry. You're building out in Bandera County, but Jerry Shorten was your sales consultant there in Spring. So give Jerry a call. He's there today and tomorrow. And he'd be glad to walk you through kind of where we are on in our slot for, Bandera is a very busy county, hill country, but he can walk you through exactly where you are, what's pending, what needs to be started. If anything still needs to be worked on, he'll have all that information.
Okay, great. We've got Julie. Colton is great about being in touch with us, answering questions, and letting us know what to expect next. I can't tell you how valuable that is. Awesome. I'm glad to hear that.
It's great to hear.
Yeah. We've got Clint meeting with Mariah in Waco to hopefully sign a contract to start a LaPorte custom home, build it with a mega garage. Awesome. I can't wait to see that. That's going to be cool. In Bay City, Texas. Looking forward to becoming a Tilson member. Yes, we're excited. Thank you. Let's see. Tara says, according to the site manager, the tile guys have it. They're just not responding to him. So she was the one who said she was waiting a long time on tile. Is there not anyone else that can install?
Justin and I aren't doing anything tomorrow. We can come lay your tile out, but you're not going to be happy. No, Tara. Justin's going to get all over this, so we'll get you an answer.
Let me see what our options are.
Okay. All right. Martina's asking, after tile, trim, fixtures, and cabinets, what else is left to complete, or are we close to closing?
Okay, so tile, trim, and fixtures and cabinets should be pretty close. Now, this is also as we get back into the utilities conversation. So if we've got the trim, that could be wood and doors and baseboards. I'm going to assume if we've got fixtures, plumbing fixtures. So we are pretty close. Generally speaking, if we have utilities, we're able to forecast at that point a completion date at that point. But you obviously, as you run into the construction process, you're going through there, you're making a list, all those little bitty things that we need to adjust or touch up, those final things getting cleaned up, so to speak. But it would seem like at this point, with utilities in place, we'd be pretty close.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I was trying to hop in and see if I could very quickly ascertain kind of what stage Mrs. Skates was at. Justin, give a little bit easier in. Beg your pardon?
You want me to get in there?
Yeah, they're Dustin's building it, and it looks like we got energy inspection on the installation August 28th. It looks like, yeah, we drywall, trim, paint. So yeah, I think your answer is about the closest you're going to get right now without having any more information.
Yeah. All right. We have Julie so excited that we should have forms starting tomorrow and plumbers on Thursday for projected foundation pour date of October 7th, building a live oak in Johnson County. Beyond excited. Oh, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing. We have someone from YouTube. Hey guys, I have a question. I just watched you guys stream from last week about how to prepare your land. I'm in Florida and looking to build in Texas in the future, looking at Texas or Republic Grand Ranch. I was wondering if I could do most of the stuff you talked about, like insurance, title, boundary survey, and getting the utilities, power, water, sewer online from Florida, or do I have to visit Texas to do them? Sorry for this essay. Thanks. I'm really glad you reached out because we actually do things a little bit differently in Texas Grand Ranch and Republic Grand Ranch. So you are lucky enough to be somewhere where we actually include property services in the contract price. So a lot of this we're going to take care of for you.
Yeah, so if you buy in either one of those, Texas or we can do it completely turnkey. I mean, you can live and stay in Florida, and you don't have to do anything. There's a few documents to send back and forth that have to be notarized, some lien paperwork, some authorization paperwork for the septic system. We have to authorize us to do some things on your behalf. That kind of requires that, but other than it's signing a couple pieces of paper, everything else can be done via DocuSign, and then we take care, like I said, of all of that stuff. And if you don't wind up in one of those two, because there is other land, you can still do pretty much everything remotely these days. A lot of the counties, particularly where you're talking Montgomery County, Walker County, they'd had the wherewithal to put a lot of their stuff online to accommodate remote over the last 2 years. So it's not too tall of an order to be able to make that happen. So
okay. All right. And Tara has an update on her tile. Her builder heard us talking about him. So shoot, now I feel bad. I just got off the phone with an update for the tile. He really is so super nice. Hopefully this Friday, fingers crossed. Seems as though he had to switch subs to get it done. So
just the presence of Justin alone is enough to get something done. I mean,
it's like when you call IT when your computer's broken and then they come and watch and it's all fixed. Like that's
hey, my transmission's acting up. Like your transmission's fine.
It's not doing that. All right, that's great. I'm glad that they were able to get that taken care of for you.
Thanks for letting us know, Tara. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Tara. We've got Linda. After the drywall was installed, I noticed in the small bedroom they didn't cut and remove the drywall in front of the TV hookup or for the ceiling fan. Should I mention this to my contractor?
That never happens. Things never get covered up.
I think they didn't remove the drywall. So we generally have a process that we'll go through to identify that. They may have cut it and not removed it, the little excess sheetrock. But another set of eyes never hurts on a job site. So if you get an opportunity to shoot him a text, it might be already on his list of things to get addressed. But we do have some safety measures in place to make sure we uncover those. But your assistance is greatly appreciated.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. John is asking, when in the build process do we get sent to the title company? We are currently trim and paint phase.
A little later.
Yeah. So what we do procedurally, we have another department that construction partners with to ease us into the closing. And we're there to guide you through that, because that can be just as challenging at times as any other part of the process, whether it's getting power or finances up front. But generally, we start running through about twice a month, roughly. We have a little meeting with the regional construction managers where they're kind of forecasting what they believe is going to be ready to close over the next 90 days. At that point, we're starting to work behind the scenes on things. So our closing coordinator team, depending on where you are in the state, one of those fine people will be reaching out, kind of start harvesting that information from you and preparing the stage for a close. And that's when you would go meet with the closing company or the title company.
Okay, great. Will is saying, y'all have a great day and a blessed week. Tilson Tuesday is awesome. I got to get back to getting stuff done since cold front came in and we are mid 80s. Oh, it's downright chilly there.
It is an absolute blizzard. Yep. It's
birds are in shock.
Yeah, we're wondering what we're going to do. I didn't bring enough long sleeve shirts for our little field trips. It's a struggle.
It's going to snow next week. It's terrible.
Yeah.
All right, we've got Cleveland's asking, what's the average cost for adding a half garage to a 2-car garage in Montgomery County? My lovely wife will need the space, just in case the walk-in closets aren't large enough. Tilson Tuesdays rock.
There you go.
Smart man, smart.
So yeah, I'm I don't. It really is going to vary based on which house that you're building. I can give you kind of a roundabout answer. On one, we'll pick like a canyon or something like that, and again, it will just really depend.
Stone or siding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right.
What the exterior
exactly.
is of the house. Yeah.
But you're probably talking in the $25,000 to $35,000 range for a one car. I suppose what you mean. You're saying half car to a 2-car. So
He's talking about like the little thingy on the side of the driftwood.
Yeah, there was one of the houses we went to today, in fact, had it. So like a a typical 2-car garage, you're like 50, 55,000, average. Some are higher, some are less. So you're looking at, you're probably talking, the least you want to add is like a 10 by 22, even for like a little 6-foot door. About 25. I mean, you need to budget around 25,000.
Okay.
That's my quick Aggie math.
All right. Alex says he's joining late today, but hello from Dayton. Hello, Alex.
What's up, Alex?
We'll expect to see your hall pass at the end, so if you could send that over to us.
What are you doing?
Give us the excuse. Donna says, thanks for the transparent answer. One more question. I thought I heard that updated new plans would be released this fall. Is that still the case? Yes. We are officially only 1 week into fall, so I'm still on time.
Donna, it's not even pumpkin spice plans yet. We're not there.
We actually just refreshed the entire Whitney plan, so I should have all of those changes to the interactive floor plans up later this week. And then we have 2 new ones that we're working on, but our plan update committee is a committee, so we do committee things. So sometimes we get off track, sometimes we get pulled in on different projects because people decide they, want to go in a new development and build a new model. So we got to talk about that. But we are on track to have at least a couple for you before the end of the year. And like I said, we should have Whitney up at the end of this week with all those updates. So we're still working on it for you, Donna.
We'll let you know when pumpkin spice, the Tilson pumpkin spice comes out.
Tilson spice, yeah. We got Lisa telling Chris that they're going to be neighbors in the hills. So you guys make sure to invite us to the barbecue. We got Kelly. Once released to construction, typically ballpark, she knows we can't give her exact answers. How long does it take to get to foundation pour?
We've been monitoring this oh boy, Eric wanted to speak. Eric,
No.
To talk here. So I hate coming in because I know
you are our special guest.
Eric's got an answer.
We always talk. You talk.
Ask me anything. This is all I've been doing for the last 2 days is asking me. I'm not wearing now, but I have not. So it is going to vary across the state. We do monitor this because this was one of the things that was taking just too long, candidly, and we wanted to correct that. But on average right now, about 45 days is what we're seeing. Now, that's across the state, and it's really difficult. Again, terrain will play a part of that. Weather is going to start impacting those cycle times as well as we move into a wetter, colder season. The days are getting shorter, so we just don't have as many hours of daylight to work under. But right now, I'm comfortable with saying across the state, 45 days is the average.
Okay.
Now, I want to go back to the question. Okay, well, yeah, you got it. Never mind.
See, Eric, he's looking.
Well, what I didn't know about was like if there's a pad that has to go in first. So
it varies across the state.
Yeah.
Right now, that's about the average.
Chance to be able to answer that question when he reaches out to you, Kelly.
Okay. All right, we've got Eric. Aggie's building a LaSalle in Bend, Texas. Dustin is just awesome. We are navigating challenges and finding a drywall crew that will drive out to our site, but we are in great hands with him and with Tilson. Couldn't be happier with our builder choice. Oh, thank you, Eric.
Dustin's getting a lot of run today. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. We have a question from YouTube. Building in Waller County, SCF. Kind of like a previous question, getting countertops and tile this week. What are the next phases and about how much longer to close? What is SCF?
Well, first of all, this is Mrs. Moore. She asked us a second ago about the warranty on the furnace. I'll let Justin. I was just introducing who she is, but Justin, go ahead.
You resist. I love it. Now I was going to let you run with it. Tell us, Eric. Tell us how long it takes. So when you're getting countertops and tile in, it's at that point. So again, I can't stress this enough in the fact that utilities are so critical to getting to completion. So after countertops and the tile are in, that's when we come in. We're going to put the plumbing trim in. You're going to see the electrical fixtures, the HVAC. If we have utilities in that part of the world, I'm going to hang it out there. My builder's going to kill me after this, but we're generally a couple months. We're within a couple months target at that point.
Chris Coffin can hit it. Chris Coffin can make it up.
I think we got some studs out there. And again, he is going to be the one that best guides you daily as to what's moving. So I would hate to not have you prepared if it comes in sooner. So that's the other part where I think his communication, I can assure you as a builder, doing this job for 20 some odd years, you always wanted to provide those updates, because I know if I'm not leading and guiding my customer, they're not going to be prepared. And we're all angling for the same thing. You want to move in, you're looking forward to Thanksgiving or Christmas or birthday, whatever that event might be that's coming up. But I believe you'll be able to hone in and get a little bit more granular with you on dates and prepare you for that.
And I may be wrong, but I think SCF is Saddle Creek Forest. If I know, I know my Waller County, Grimes County lines quite right.
All right. Too many acronyms.
Probably a very exclusive group. Probably an exclusive Facebook or Nextdoor group. God, I love Nextdoor. The gift it always gives. So
I love anonymity and emailing people. It's going to be great. All right. We've got Kenneth saying howdy. We just had our septic tank installed. So excited to have a sewer system. The house is moving onwards towards completion. Kenneth, I bet you thought you would never type that phrase for all the internet to hear, but that is very exciting. It's awesome. We've got Tanya, who is building a driftwood in Texas Grand Ranch. So excited. It's a beautiful place. You should be excited. We have another YouTube question. How long does the process take from HVAC ducting to insulation?
We got some inspections that happen. So what do you got,
We do.
Justin?
So we do. We'll have the HVAC. So that's one of the first mechanicals that's going to go in after the frame is complete. And then we still need to get the plumbing installed. And we're also going to be looking at the electrical. So you're going to experience some delays in between those activities. But typically you're about 30 days. If I had to guesstimate loosely, and we're talking averages across the state, it depends on the square footage of the house or what all has to be tied into it at that point. But generally speaking, you're about 30 to 45 days. And you do have inspections, and we get to wait on them too, because they're a critical part of the process. If you're in the city, it could take a little bit longer too, because they have a regiment that they're going to follow. Each mechanical is going to have its own independent inspection. But somewhere in that ballpark is where I would anticipate on average.
Okay, perfect. Bianca is asking, are y'all noticing the cost of concrete coming down by chance? Our stakeout showed we'll need an extra, about 4 to 5 extra feet of foundation, and I'm nervous.
So I got it real quick, and then Justin's going to take it away. There is one thing that has come down in the last 90 days, and that's lumber. Nothing else. Justin, go. What are you seeing?
No, we're continuing to see increases actually. Fuel is still, you're seeing fuel surcharges go up at this point. The cost per yard is going up. So I'm really not anticipating, I wish I was seeing reductions, but I'm not seeing any reductions in labor or material. It's just not the reality of the world that we're under right now. I don't anticipate with the economics that are going on today that we would anticipate seeing any reduction in cost. I think that kind of goes into the incentive question that came earlier is, they inflated what they have the ability to do in the production world or subdivision. They can hang a price tag on that home, and they did, and people were willing to pay it. And now they're reducing it. And when you start hearing that people are knocking off tens of thousands of dollars, they were going to make it while they could. And they're realizing the market's not there to sustain that price. So they're reducing. Again, we don't operate that way. We give you the best price that we believe up front, and we maintain that price throughout. But I don't anticipate any reduction in cost.
If there's any good news in this, Bianca, is that you're in Medina County. 4 or 5 feet of out of level, 5.5 feet out of level is not out of the ordinary out there. I mean, it's certainly going to cost something, but it's not bizarre. That as you start to move further east, that gets a little bit weird. That's where you start to run into significant cost. But in Medina County, that's called Tuesday. Like, that's not a big deal. So,
okay. All right. We've got Julie saying, no, not going to look at the new Whitney. Please block me from the website. Okay, Julie, you're banned. I have seen your house. Your house is beautiful, and there's nothing we did to the new Whitney that you would like better than your Whitney that you're building. I promise. Okay, so you're going to be fine. Just don't worry about it. All right. We've got from YouTube, ours is Town Square, and there's too much drama. I haven't heard of Town Square. There's a new one.
Good.
By the way, it's Mr. Moore. Don't want Mrs. Moore blamed for my dumb questions. And yes,
sorry,
Chris is
Mr.
a good
Moore
guy.
and Mrs. Moore.
I've not heard of Town Square. That should be fun.
This is great. Yeah.
All right, guys, that is all the questions that I see. So if you have any more, start typing.
Yeah. Last call for questions. Obviously, we appreciate everybody coming on here and asking these. This was exactly right at an hour. So almost like our customers they know, like, okay, well, 1 hour, and then they got to go back to work because you've got to go work to close on these houses. And Justin, thank you for joining us, man. I really appreciate it. I know I sprung it on you like 18 minutes ago. So you rock. You're a trooper. Thanks for rolling with Eric. This is how we do it.
Anytime.
Intern Dawn, thank you for putting up with us. We really appreciate it. Kelsey, thank you for monitoring the chat. And guys, we really appreciate y'all watching these. They are here. They're for you. You know, these are questions that we know the answers to, that we know people are wondering. So we do these so that you guys have the most information. I knew if I stalled long enough, another question would pop in, and lo and behold, it did. So take it away.
Thank you, Lisa. Curious about utilities, especially when we bring in propane. We should release to construction in October. Electric account is set up and just waiting for y'all to put in T-pole. Water is ready. When do we bring propane in?
Propane won't come in until closer to the end. So again, contact the company. You can go ahead and review their contracts. Do you want to leave it above ground? Do you want to bury it? I mean, there's some options. There's some cool options you can explore there. So the sooner you're having those conversations, the sooner you plan for them. But the actual burying of that tank, if you're going to do that, or setting the tank, typically won't come until closer towards the end. And builders should be guiding you, but power is going to be essential. Water is going to be essential. Septic for on-site sewage facility or sewer, those are going to be the critical things to getting through. And if you have a plan in place with a propane company, as we're about a month away, roughly, that'd probably be best to start looking at scheduling them, depending on what their lead times are. But I would submit, generally speaking, about 30 days out.
Okay, perfect. She says, sounds good.
All right. Well, thank you guys all for watching this. We really genuinely appreciate this. If you have any questions, we are easy to get a hold of. We have our Facebook page where you found us here. We have a YouTube channel with tons of information. We got Instagram. We got a website. We got 12 design center locations. Oh, I forgot.
We have TikTok.
Oh, yeah, Justin, today's the day we drop it. You are a TikTok star.
Just for fun. Just for fun.
Surprise. We have things to start looking at in Waco, Texas.
We do. We have frame. We have frames to look at. If you guys saw the beginning video, that looks like there's a little house on the back of the truck. That's the casita in Waco. But we do have framing in progress on the casita, the Tampico, and the Angelina. So it is an awesome time. If you want to see a Tilson home under construction, head out to our Waco Design Center because you can actually see them being built. So super exciting.
That's the thing. So you can find us all those places. I see we have a question about foundation to finish that Sandy just put up.
Yes.
I don't think it's taken.
Is construction time from foundation to finish still about a year?
Foundation.
Sure, depending on where you're at in the state. I think what we're seeing, and I'm excited about this because we were seeing foundations taking a long time to get in. Some places we still have those situations, but we are starting to see homes advancing in a quicker fashion. So we've got a bulk of homes that got locked up in a lot of the supply chain stuff. Those are starting to bleed through, and we're starting to see those cycle times come down in a lot of the state. So I still feel like we're about a year. I think it's safe. I really rather my guys be the ones to guide because they come across opportunities all the time where somebody just pops up and says, hey, I can be on a job site tomorrow. And if they're qualified and we have a good relationship with them, we send them because we don't want them sitting at home. So those are the opportunities we're starting to see come about that we have not seen in forever. So I still feel like about a year is safe at this point.
All right, perfect.
That's cool.
And then we have some questions about when Justin and Eric are going to be on TikTok.
Well, the Eagles did this tour, David, called the Hell Freezes Over Tour. That's about when you can figure out Eric and Justin will be on TikTok together.
TikTok is really an opportunity to be exposed to other people in Tilson Homes.
Right.
The more fun people.
Fun people,
Yeah.
not us. Not the older people. So anyway, thank you guys for doing this. We appreciate y'all joining us. Reach out to us anytime. We'd love to hear from you guys. Ask us your questions. We want to be sure you have the most information possible. Again, our experience, the most educated customer is the happiest customer. We'd be as transparent as we can possibly be. So ask us your questions. We will give you the straight answer. Whether you build with us or not, you ought to have this information. So thank you for watching. We hope this was helpful to you, and we genuinely soon hope to make you part of the Tilson family. We'll see you guys later on.
Bye, everybody.
Thank y'all.